This is so shameless coming from the White House. For those that don't know, a few months back, the Wall Street Journal, if I'm not mistaken, leaked a story, or I guess just dropped a story out of nowhere, on Trump and his friendship with Epstein, revealing that Trump had written a birthday letter to Epstein at one point, and it was like this weird poem, very odd, and in some ways it definitely reads like they're referencing something that's like a secret between the both of them that they like to openly joke about in a very vague way, while never giving enough away that unless you had critical evidence or information, you would know what they were talking about. And on top of that, Trump, according to this article, had written the shape of a woman, a naked woman, around the letter, and wrote his signature as, like, said woman's bush. And that video, or that story, spurned a million videos talking about how weird it is that Trump was so friendly with Epstein, and, how are the right not caring? Why do they pretend like they care about children until their cult leader is a threat to children? There's been a lot of memes from the left coming from this, like being 13 is real hard these days, because the second you turn that age, you're competing with the president of the United States for girls in your age demographic. It's tough being a 13-year-old these days. The president's out there just competing with you. That meme is so horrific, but also unfortunately true. It's tough out there for the teens of our world now today, because Donald Trump is he's hoovering them all up. He's the Donald Diddlier. The Diddly Donald. Diddy Donald. Let's do that. Diddy Donald. That's a good nickname. We're gonna Trump him. We're gonna hit up Diddlin' Don. Or Donald Diddy. Donald Diddy? That's a good one. Anyway, he's out there being his Diddy self, and everything is coming out sort of in a wave in the last couple days. Many of you guys probably aren't aware of what came out just today, because we have learned through the House committee that is sort of forcing out the evidence from the Epstein files. We have found not only this drawing from Trump, but another drawing from somebody close to Epstein. We got this apparently from the Epstein estate, and it's a colored pencil drawing, several of them depicting Trump and Epstein, several of them depicting Epstein grooming minors or receiving massages from minors, and in one of the said drawings is very blatantly and very obviously Mar-a-Lago. Very interesting stuff, but we're going to be getting into that in just a moment. Stay tuned. In the meantime, we've got to go one step at a time here, because just earlier today, the White House put out a response to what has released, and it is embarrassing. Admittedly, I watched a few moments of this off stream earlier this morning while I was drinking my morning Monster Energy, and I did get a little spoiled, but trust me, it's worth giving this a watch. Mind you, this is immediately after the bombshell drop of the full release of the actual letter. Now we have it. Before, we just knew of its existence. Now we have seen it, and we know for a fact, we've seen the signature. It's identical to Trump's. It's definitely his. And now we're in the situation where Trump denied any of this could be true. J.D. Vance denied any of this could be true. And now it's been proven true. Trump's been caught in yet another one of his lies, and the White House has been forced to respond, and you will not believe how shameless they were about it. Buckle up. This is going to be downright enraging.
Tardiness today. Thanks for being here. Another packed room. It's good to see. We'll begin with a scheduling update today. President Trump will commemorate the 24th anniversary of 9/11 on Thursday with a visit to the Pentagon Memorial in the morning, followed by an appearance at the New York Yankees game at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx on Thursday evening. Next week, as you all know, the President and the First Lady will depart for their historic state visit to the United Kingdom on Tuesday, and they return to Washington on Thursday. Today, I would like to address the tragedy that has not received nearly enough media attention.
That's right, guys. Right off the bat, we're not acknowledging the bombshell news everyone is talking about with the Epstein stuff. Instead, we're going straight into the tragedy that no one's talking about, supposedly, which I've actually dedicated a whole segment to, and that is the murder of Irina Zarutska. She was a Ukrainian immigrant who sought asylum here in America. Now, all of a sudden, conservatives are pretending like they don't hate immigrants, asylum seekers, and specifically Ukrainians. They're pretending like they are not overtly in favor of Russia and their invasion against Ukraine. And now they're all pretending like the murder of this girl was the worst thing to ever happen to them. Like, they're all pretending as if, like, they need to see justice, right? And the reason for this, as it turns out, is because, as we see in some footage, and I'll go all over this later, her murderer was a black man. I do believe he commented on her being a white woman after killing her in said video. And this has, of course, led to just a massive wave of Nazis coming out to say, it's time for ICE and Trump to start cracking down on black people next. So that's been pretty bad, but we'll get into that a little later. Right now, she's trying to use the fact that the right's been pushing that story really hard to try and pull people's attention from what actually matters here.
The brutal murder of Irina Zarutska. Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Irina was on the train that night traveling home from her...
Yeah, this is why it's good that cities like Seattle, my city, have transit cops. They're police officers on the trains, and most of what their job entails is just making sure you've got your ticket. You just say, yeah, I got it right here. And they're like, oh, cool, good. And they go on with their day. But obviously, if someone pulled up with a knife and started trying to stab people, they would also be there to prevent it. Savage, wow. Now, very clever game that these monsters play. Because the guy who murdered this poor girl was a fucking monster. Obviously. A horrible psycho who went out and clearly was praying for somebody to hurt and kill. Was it a race-motivated hate crime? Very possibly was. Probably not, though. Conservatives on Twitter are unironically arguing that if hate crimes were quote-unquote categorized correctly, they would find that by a large margin, white people are the most hate-crimed demographic in America. They unironically believe this, or at least they claim it. They unironically claim it. I don't know if they unironically believe it. They might be lying. However, like, this guy's a monster, right? And the wording they use is very specific. It's meant to be wording that indicates that they're attacking this person for more than what they did. It gives you the vibe that had it been a white man that did it, not only would she not be talking about it, because, well, frankly, a million white dudes killed white women in the last few days, and they're not talking about it. The reason it's being discussed is because of the race of the victimizer. And I think it matters that even if the person we're talking about is a horrible human being, there are still certain lines you don't cross. Not because anybody who is that bad deserves certain standards to be held to them, but because if you attack them for things unrelated to why they deserve to be attacked, things that are inherent to them and shared by many others who are not also that way, I don't think it's a very good way to go about it. It doesn't even really get to the heart of what issue you have with that person. Take, for instance, like, I don't know, like EDP, the pedophile YouTuber. A lot of people on the internet, back when it came out he was a pedophile, started just calling him the N-word, the hard R, frequently. And if you try to say, hey, why are you getting racist with it? They're like, oh, what, you're defending the pedophile? And it's like, well, no, I'm not defending him. Call him whatever horrible things you like, specifically him. But when you use slurs like that or attack someone who did a horrible thing for things that are unrelated to the horrible thing, it kind of implies that it's not really the horrible thing they did that you have an issue with. It's just a convenient factor there for you to get people on board with your perspective with. The right is freaking out because a black guy killed a white girl, and they're saying it's a hate crime? Yes, indeed, that's what we're discussing. And they're using it to distract from the obvious issue here of the Epstein files. By the way, folks, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to see more from me, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. It really does help to please the horrific AI algorithm demons that have decided that you got to get like a 10% CTR and a ridiculous like 20% like to view ratio for videos to do well. So if you guys can help out with that, it means the world. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me as well. Without any further ado, though, let's continue.
Her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America.
Why'd she have to flee her country, by the way? Just curious. Why'd she have to flee? Just curious. Like, what's going on there? Why she had to flee? Like, she had to flee her country. But why? Like, you know, you could... I don't know. I like how we really skim over the whole... She fled her country. But we're not gonna touch on that topic because, you know, Trump isn't exactly willing to do anything in order to help the Ukrainians. So they don't want to drum up too much sympathy for Ukrainians. They specifically want to drum up sympathy for this one girl, Irina, for being white.
But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The president and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend...
Ironically, it's the blue city of Seattle that's got the solution to this problem. Transit cops. Like, granted, more cops is probably never the answer that a lot of progressives want to hear, but in my experience, the transit cops have been pretty damn nice. Like, I don't know. They like, in my experience, they've been pretty chill. Anti-finance, from what I've seen, I've dropped no frames and no one in chat has complained, so you might just want to refresh your page. It might be your internet. But yeah, back to it.
And our thoughts and prayers. We must also seek justice for this crime.
Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers.
Call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Irina, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of the story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all...
So basically, this is them not only using this story to distract from what everyone's actually concerned about, the Epstein file stuff, but also they're using this story to try and make a, like, justification for... Well, we're getting to the point now where they've been focusing real hard on trans people, on, you know, immigrants and whatnot. But the one group that the right, politically, has tried not to overtly advocate for policies that blatantly attack this group in the past has been Black Americans. Obviously, you know, in the last 10 years, Republicans have been really desperately trying to get the Black American vote with no success. Pretty much no success at all, but they've been trying. They're really trying. And it seems like their consistent failures have led them to decide it's time to start just going hard against the right for black people to exist in America. Because not only did the Supreme Court just rule that racial profiling is legal for federal agents to do, and that doesn't just apply to ICE when they're stopping people under suspicion that their brownness means they're an illegal immigrant, but this also means police very well may be able to argue being a black person in a certain area is probable cause, admissible in court. That is a scary scenario. That is a real 1960s, like, bullshit-ass, racist problem if that happens. That is a problem. That is some 60s shit right there. And that is not too far away from being our reality in the next month or two. Are you black and you live in, like, a mostly white suburban neighborhood? Well, let's just hope the local cops don't decide to pull you over, pull over, handcuff you, take you to the local jailhouse, and charge you, and make you go to court under the suspicion that because you were black in that neighborhood, you were suspicious. Because that's basically legal now. getting pretty bad, folks. It's getting pretty bad.
All of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a supporter, a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing.
And so this is their big, like, battle against cashless bail, but more importantly, as I do plan to do a whole segment about this topic, it's a distraction from what really matters. Let's see how long it takes for it to actually get to the Epstein stuff that everyone's here for, and how long they actually give that topic.
Think about how when these criminals are caught, they must be
U.S. trade deal as one of the sticking points, this issue of the censorship, not just of U.S. platforms, of Americans. Do you have any
to seek peace as well, and he wants to see that blue by members of the Democrat Party. These are blue cities, and they have inherited a much worse economy by the Biden administration than ever reported the president's authentic signature, and we have maintained that position all along. The president did not write this letter.
All right, here we go.
Did the president speak with Netanyahu before they were carried out? Did he urge him to not go through with it, or did they only speak after?
That Israel was attacking Hamas. The president, after the attack.
Would the White House support a professional handwriting expert review of the document released yesterday to prove that it's not the president's signature?
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic.
You know what's amazing? Marjorie Taylor Greene is like the rare W poster on this one. Do you want to know what Marjorie Taylor Greene did today? Do you want to hear the rare W she did today? You know how she's always doing, like, out there stunts? Like, really, like, you know, just childish shit? She's giving Trump that play now. Where today she put posters up all over the Capitol building. She put posters up of the letter that Trump wrote to Epstein with his signature on it, alongside 3 images of confirmed Trump signatures that all look identical to the Trump signature on the image. And it's a picture of her, like, putting it up on the wall, turning towards the camera and going, and then walking away. Like, I fucking hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, but, like, if her crazy is now directed against Trump, I basically consider it like, you know that one video where the guy in Florida tries to rob a 7-Eleven using an alligator? You know, as a Floridian, this might just be something that I'm aware of and not you guys, but look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. A guy just found a baby alligator, like 4 feet long in a drainage ditch, and he picked it up and he kind of carries it like a big dog or like a large gun into the 7-Eleven, and he tries to hold it up. And I mean, like, frankly, an alligator is an effectively scary weapon for a holdup. Like, what if he throws it at you? You know, like, that's actually scarier than a gun. So yeah, it just kind of reminds me of that a little bit, like Marjorie Taylor Greene being the alligator.
Analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature. And we have maintained that
Daily
position all
Signal.
along. The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter, and that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to. Christian.
Thanks, Carol.
I'm gonna sue you.
Yes, Donald Trump is very anti-freedom of speech, and he certainly does love to sue. Is that all we're gonna get? Come on, there's got to be more.
Following up on Ed, now that we have these revised jobs numbers, is the president concerned at all?
No, come on. Stop softballing, you fucking pussies.
Bit of clarity on the sequence of events with the Doha attack and the notification. You said that the U.S. military notified, if I got it right, the Trump administration ordered.
Mr. British man, why will you not hit them with a hard ball?
The president told that to the Emir and the Prime Minister of Qatar, and the president also well. The president.
I don't care.
And I think it's very thorough.
Negotiations by striking Qatar. Is he concerned that Qatar's no longer going to want to play that intermediary role?
Don't care.
The largest U.S. military base is in Doha, and then I have a question on DC.
Don't care.
Is that these crimes has every It's not something I've heard the president discuss. You can ask him yourself next time you have the opportunity to. How's that?
What?
New crimes. Is that something the presidency wants?
It's not-
Is calling for judges to face consequences if the violent repeat offenders they release go on to commit new crimes. Is that something the presidency wants?
It's not something I've heard the president discuss. You can ask him yourself next time you have the opportunity to. How's that?
Caroline, one more question.
For those that don't know, Trump has suggested that if a judge lets a criminal off, or lets someone who's been accused of a crime off, and that person commits a crime in the future, then the judge would be held liable for criminal charges. That is a real, like, thing that obviously this would be every single judge ever, and would be extremely selectively applied only to Democrat judges that Trump does not like. Reporters that won't throw high fastballs inside. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that they very much filtered out all of the journalists who are ballsy enough to ask hard-hitting questions. They don't want to get banned from the White House and lose their press pass. But this is not the whole of it, though, it turns out. This is not the whole of it. Boo, boo, boo. Is this it? Ah, yes, here we go, guys. Are you ready for some brand new, just dropped today news? Because there's more to all this than just that letter. We not only got that letter that Donald Trump wrote to Epstein, we also got something called Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday book. That's right, folks. There's more. It goes deeper. House Democrats on Monday released a screenshot of what appears to be a letter signed by President Donald Trump, which was included in a collection of notes sent to notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday in 2003. The letter features a cryptic conversation between Trump and Epstein, inside an apparently hand-drawn outline of a woman's torso. Trump's signature is located just below the hips of the drawing. The letter is publicly visible for the first time since its existence was first reported by the Wall Street Journal in mid-July. Trump has not only denied writing the letter, but he sued the newspaper for defamation. Remember,
I'll sue you.
CNBC has requested comment from a spokesperson for Trump's legal team. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt asserted that the publication of the drawing proves this entire birthday card story is false.
As I've said all along, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture, and he did not sign it,
she said in an X post.
President Trump's legal team will continue to aggressively pursue litigation,
she added. Taylor Budowich, Deputy White House Chief of Staff, claimed on X that the signature to the letter to Epstein, or on the letter to Epstein is not Trump's. Budowich shared a series of pictures of documents Trump has recently signed in order to suggest that the 2003 signature does not match, but a review of Trump's signature over time reveals it has evolved significantly. A New York Times report from 2016 about Trump's letters included several signatures that much more closely resemble the one on the Epstein letter. This is true. If you look at the cases in which he signed his signature confirmed back in 2002, 3, and 4, his signature is identical to the one in the letter. Both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee are investigating records related to Epstein, the wealthy and well-connected financier who killed himself in prison, allegedly, in 2019, while facing federal sex trafficking charges. Epstein's estate provided the entire birthday book and other documents in response to a subpoena from the committee. Later in the day, the Republican committee majority released a full set of documents totaling more than 350 pages. In a statement, GOP committee chair rep James Comer of Kentucky said it was appalling that Democrats on the Oversight Committee are cherry-picking documents and politicizing information received from the Epstein estate today. The committee will pursue additional Epstein bank records based on this new information, he added. Epstein was formerly Trump's friend, but had a falling out with him in the mid-2000s. Since Trump took office in January, Epstein has become a massive liability for the White House, and its response has drawn harsh criticism from both the far right and the left. Trump, who stoked an array of conspiracy theories on the campaign trail, signaled that he would be open to releasing all the undisclosed criminal records in Epstein's case, known as the Epstein Files. But after one paltry disclosure, his Department of Justice said in a July memo that nothing further was warranted, prompting outrage from some of his own supporters. The screenshot released Monday afternoon shows the letter exactly as it was described by the Wall Street Journal, which first uncovered the existence of the body message on July 17th. Trump furiously denied writing that letter at the time, claiming, "These are not my words. That's not the way I talk." He promptly filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit.
I'll sue you.
against the newspaper and media mogul Rupert Murdoch. After the letter was released Monday afternoon, Representative Robert Garcia of California, the top-ranking Democrat on the oversight panel, said the document shows Trump is involved in a cover-up of Epstein. Comer, meanwhile, said Trump is not accused of any wrongdoing and Democrats are ignoring the new information the committee received today. Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving a 20-year prison sentence for conspiring with Epstein to procure young women for him to abuse, helped compile the book of birthday wishes. Maxwell, in an interview in July with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, said she could not recall the names of anyone who contributed to the birthday book. It's been so long, said the British ex-socialite, who has asked the Supreme Court to take her appeal for her conviction. Yeah, she's keeping her mouth shut, as you expect, and she's getting rewarded by the Trump administration for it. But here's what I really wanted to show you guys. Yeah. So do you want to see an image from Trump, or from Epstein's birthday book? His 50th birthday book? Yeah. Now there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot. So in the first image you see, in 1983, Jeffrey Epstein, a younger Jeffrey Epstein, you can tell it's Epstein, is giving 3 girls balloons and candy, 1983. And then in 2003, presumably the same girls, maybe? I don't know if that's what's implied, but then in 2003, he's getting a massage from a group of women, some of them nude, it would seem, and you also have the jet, the literal jet, and there's a resort in the background. It would seem like would you guys agree that this is a tropical resort we're looking at here? You guys would agree to that, right? That that's what we're looking at? Let me I just want to show you guys something, okay? I just want to show you guys something. Just bear with me, folks. Now, call me absolutely batshit insane if you will, but like, granted, we're talking Mar-a-Lago in 2003. If anyone has an image of that, that would be handy. But this is not Epstein's Island. This is not Little St. James Island. It's not. It's just not. It's objectively not. That's not what it looks like. It does sure look like Mar-a-Lago, though, doesn't it? It certainly looks like this is a drawing of Epstein that seems to hint at him being a pedophile, seems to hint at the pedophilia jet, and all of that depicted with Mar-a-Lago in the background. Mind you, this was a drawing that one of Epstein's friends made for him for his birthday in 2003. So, folks, is it starting to come together for you all now? Are you starting to understand? Are you getting it now? It's always been true. Donald Trump was always a pedophile. He was always buddies with his creepy old man bestie, his old man Yowie partner, Jeffrey Epstein. They've probably been diddling kids for decades now, and they've gotten away with it because they're rich, powerful, and in the case of Epstein, maybe have government connections. But to see it all get outed like this, to really just get to the point now where I am comfortable assuming anyone who is unwilling to recognize reality here is themselves a pedophile. It's good to be this certain. You know what I mean? It's good to be this certain. Well, folks, it would seem that Donald Trump, or I guess his lovely estate of Mar-a-Lago, might have had something to do with Epstein's past. Well, we already know he poached, what was her name? Her last name was Giuffre. Why can't I remember her first name? I'm blanking completely right now. Fuck. Why can't I remember her first name? She was one of Epstein's victims and was a Virginia Giuffre, I think. Yeah. She was working for Donald Trump as a teenager, underage. She was working at Mar-a-Lago for Donald Trump and was poached by Epstein as an employee, started working for Epstein as a masseuse, and was then groomed and victimized from there. Sadly, she is not alive today to tell us her story, but I think you guys can start to recognize that, like, all the puzzle pieces are fitting together too well at this point for us not to be able to guess with fairly decent certainty what pieces we're missing and what those pieces look like. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Every thumbs up and every comment helps to boost the channel and the algorithm immensely. It really does help a lot. YouTube's algorithmic overlords have gotten a lot more strict these days with the recent AI implementation update on August 13th, so the more you guys like and comment, the better it helps the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who subscribes as well, so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos. And don't forget, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias linked down below in the description, particularly my fan Discord, and as that is the main hub of my community and fan base, don't forget to join, because I host gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, movie nights, and gaming and all sorts of cool things literally every week, every Friday. Don't worry, you're a stereotypical nerd. Stream's not over yet. This is just the end of the first topic of the stream. And of course, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch that's Streamlabs linked down below. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.